Contrary to what most people believe, it's not too difficult to experience a spiritual awakening. With some dedication and luck, we can awaken to our spiritual nature. And while a spiritual awakening is a major milestone in our human evolution, it's just the first step on a long journey of transformation. Most spirituals who have gone through a spiritual awakening often ask about how to progress faster. And that is because they're excited about their path, but also because after some time, they feel like they are stagnating, like they are going nowhere, and repeating spiritual platitudes feels repetitive and boring. You see, it's good to be interested in improving ourselves and asking questions about how to make that happen. What's even better, however, is asking about what could make us fall back, about what could ruin our efforts, about what could bring us back to a state where we never thought we'd find ourselves in again. This state is generally called the fall, and understanding how it happens is hundreds of times more productive than seeking ways to improve ourselves while we're standing on shifting sands. Now, what causes this state or this fall? If you have paid attention to what has been said, you heard the term standing on shifting sands. What does it mean in this case? You see, most of us have a preconceived notion about the world. We think that everyone sees things like we do, but in truth, they don't. All of us have been through different experiences that shaped us into the person we are now. To be able to function in the world, we need knowledge. We need to know how to interact with others, how to feed ourselves, how to live in society, etc. This knowledge ultimately builds beliefs, and these beliefs are accumulated through our experiences, our surroundings, what we are told to be true through mainstream media, and so on. In time, those beliefs form the filter through which we perceive the world and reality itself. Those beliefs which are different for everyone and based on our own personal experiences. We all have different beliefs, therefore. And if those beliefs feel true for us and not necessarily true for others, which beliefs are actually true? Now, yes, beliefs cannot only be individual, they are shared in groups. Usually we have similar beliefs to those of our parents, friends, community, country, and so on. We also have similar beliefs to all human beings because we're all part of the same species. That's how we're able to live together. After all, we're all cells of the earth herself. That's the collective for you. It's why we shop stuff with the most reviews as an example. Yet, despite the fact that we are together in this, most of us believe in being lonely as an example, in being excluded from others. And such beliefs make us feel miserable and in pain, which creates frustration through which we destroy our relationships and so on. These beliefs come from our past experiences and they shape our current perception. Now, what's the distinction between a belief and a truth? Paris is the capital of France. This is a truth, a fact. An eye for an eye, on the other hand, or the belief in taking revenge on others, is just that, a belief. It's true for us if we have accepted it as being true, generally through religions, movies, songs, and other influences that dictate our actions until such a belief is reinforced in us. If we believe in revenge and someone wrongs us in some way, for us there is just one way to deal with the situation, and that's by hitting back. For another person, however, a person who doesn't believe in revenge, her course of action may be different. Perhaps she will learn what she can from the experience of being hurt and then take action if she can to fix the issue without being fed by anger and negativity. Now, all of us have many beliefs in our subconscious mind, and because they feel true for us, they give us a sense of security in handling our daily lives, whether or not they are factual. And that is what we mean by standing on shifting sands. Nearly everyone is standing on shifting sands. Our feeling of security is derived from assumptions, not from universal laws. Yet we are so sure about ourselves, so certain in our ways, and sometimes so arrogant, when in just a few seconds, everything we believe in could crumble. And to come back to the subject, the moment we commit to our spiritual growth, This is exactly what happens. Spiritual growth is just a fancy term. In truth, it just means growth. It means maturation. We are all here to mature after all. Some people mature more quickly, others like to take their time. Everyone has free will. And to mature, we have to get out of our own ways and learn to look at reality without our rose-colored glasses. Sometimes this process happens gently. Most of the time, however, it is sudden, shocking, and can leave us confused for some time depending on how quick we're able to pick ourselves back up. Why? Because again, what we've known up to this point in our lives is what made us feel safe. And having this safety turned upside down makes us vulnerable, opened. It makes us feel attained, in danger, seen, threatened. And when we're in such a state, it's easy to believe that we are a failure, that we are a disappointment, that we are guilty, and that we are being punished. When we are in such a state, it's easy to lose ourselves in our thoughts because our mind is racing. We are thinking about how we could have avoided the situation. We are begging to be given another chance at making a different choice. We are beating ourselves up for having messed up. We are dominated by fears, guilt, shame, and despair. Did we actually mess things up? Certainly our actions have created a certain outcome. The first step to getting ourselves out of this situation is by acknowledging our part of responsibility in creating such a scenario, even though it may look like we have nothing to do with it, even though we may want to blame someone or something else for it. Ownership is the first step to growth. Are we actually being punished? We believe in reward and punishment because that's how we were programmed to function. Both are projections. In truth, we are not being punished. Actions created reactions, and now we have the chance to learn from our experiences. Next time we can try different options and see where they lead us. Could we have avoided the situation? Most of the time such situations happen for our own good. It may not feel like it at first, but human beings can sometimes be stubborn. An unexpected event is the surest way for us to get out of our own delusions and learn humility. When we are in the middle of so much chaos, we may feel like our world is ending. And it is. Our world, not the world itself. If we indulge in too much negativity at this point, our vibration will eventually decrease. And we will have to start all over again. And maybe the only way for us to do it will require that we forget about such an event, which happens when we reincarnate. In fact, most of the time such patterns are reflective of challenges we have not overcome yet. It's important to acknowledge that we all make mistakes. Mistakes, however, are not supposed to make us feel bad about ourselves. We learn through mistakes, and that's what makes them so vital to our growth. Feeling guilty for making mistakes is unproductive. It entertains negative energies. If you find yourself in such a place right now, verbalize your feelings. Do you feel bad for having disappointed someone, as an example? The reasons are varied. Open up. You don't need to speak to someone if you have no one. Just express yourself. Speak, sing, be creative about it. Don't entertain the pain. Be aware of it. Live with it. Remember that your soul is unattainable. Remember that you are just experiencing this event, and that if you're willing to rise above the pain and look at it straight in the face, you'll learn innumerable lessons that will propel you on your journey. If you deal with it, does it mean such events will never happen again? Not necessarily, but no matter what may happen next, living consciously through this period of your life will equip you with everything it takes to overcome anything life throws at you next. From a higher perspective, what seems to be so negative and destructive on earth is actually the greatest gift we have to learn in the most efficient way. The kind of way that alters our unconscious processes and builds powerful foundations we can always rely on in times of need.